Hello everyone, welcome back to the session of English. In this session, we are going to continue with our topic comprehension ability. Now, this is part number 16. In this session, we are going to discuss passage number 19. So, in this section, we will discuss passage number 19 and questions based on passage 19 with solutions. It means after reading the entire passage, we'll solve some questions based on the context of the passage number 19. We will also have the solutions of these questions and will discuss each and every question with the entire explanation to that particular question. So let's begin the session. First of all, let us start reading the passage. So let me take this pen first, and after that we'll begin reading the paragraph or the passage. Though the US means United States, prides, it means it is proud of itself on being a leader in the world community, a recent report shows that it legs far behind. Legs far behind means it is actually back to those countries, other industrialized countries, in meeting the needs of its youngest and the most vulnerable citizens. Vulnerable means weak, okay, and which are very fragile. Youngest means the smallest, or we can say, let us say, children, okay, because children are the youngest of the children of the citizens. So the US has a higher infant mortality rate. Infant is just born child. Mortality means death rate. It means the number of deaths according to the population of the country, or you can say the number of deaths divided by population of the country. A higher proportion of low birth weight babies. A smaller proportion of babies immunized against childhood disease, and a much higher rate of adolescent pregnancies. Adolescent pregnancies means pregnancies in the teenage. These findings described as a quiet crisis requiring immediate far-reaching action. Now, if we talk about quiet crisis, what is quiet crisis? A higher proportion of low birth weight and low birth weight babies. It means you can say the babies whose weight is very low when they are born. A smaller proportion of babies immunized. Okay, so a smaller means as compared to this one. Okay, so a smaller proportion of babies immunized against childhood diseases. It means the childhood disease, and they are not immunized. They have not immune to that system or to that particular common diseases. Their immunity is not strong enough. And a much higher rate of adolescent pregnancies. It means much higher rate of, it means very high rate of those adolescent girls who are pregnant, but they are in adolescent stage of development or stage of life. Appeared in a report prepared by a task force of educators, doctors, politicians, and business people. According to the report, a fourth of the nation's 12 million infants. A fourth of 12 millions. Now, if there are 12 millions and we are talking about a fourth, means 1/4 of it. So 4 ones are 4 threes are. It means we are talking about 3 million people. Okay, we are talking about 3 million people. Okay. So 12 million infants and toddlers live in poverty. Okay, they live in poverty. It means around 3 millions of people, 3 millions of children, they live in poverty. As many as half confront risk factors that could confront means face, harm their ability to develop intellectually, physically, and socially. Child immunizations are too low. More children are born into poverty, more are in substandard care, while their parents work, and more are being raised by single parents. Substandard care means, suppose parents, they work, okay, and they leave their child in child care areas, in suppose daycare institutes, or to those people who are unrelated to them, or maybe possible their relatives, but because they are not parents, so that is called substandard care or the foster care. Okay, while their parents work and more are being raised by single parents, and even there are children who are raised by single parent only, because either the another parent, he has gone somewhere for work, or they live separately, or maybe possible only single parent is there, not the other parent is still alive. So there can be many reasons for the single parents to be there. When taken together, these are other risk factors can lead to educational and health problems, and that are much harder and more costly to reverse. The crisis begins in the womb. Womb means before birth, with unplanned parenthood. Suppose there are the unplanned parenthood, or you can say unplanned pregnancies. Okay, women with unplanned pregnancies are less likely to seek prenatal care. It means they will not be given prenatal care. So that is big. This is actually the cause of unplanned pregnancies. In the US, 80% of the teenage pregnancies and 56 of all pregnancies are 56% of all pregnancies are unplanned. Basically, in US, it is happening that according to the data, 56% of the all pregnancies are unplanned. It means the remaining are planned. The problems continue after birth, where unplanned pregnancies are and unstable partnerships, maybe they get divorced and they separated, often go hand in hand. Since 1950, the number of single parent families has nearly tripled. Now they have tripled. The number of single parent families. More than 25% of all births today are to unmarried mothers. Okay, more than 25% of the pregnancies are to those mothers who are unmarried, or they are not they are unwed. It means they did not get married but they got pregnant. As the number of single parent families grows and more women enter the workforce, now just to raise their child, they enter the workforce. Infants and toddlers are increasingly in the care of people other than their parents. So this is the main reason where care of people other than the parents, because they live in the foster care, for suppose in the daycare, or you can say to those who are unrelated to them. Okay, the crisis begins in the womb with unplanned parenthood. Okay, this we have already read. Most disturbingly, recent statistics show that American parents are increasingly neglecting or abusing their children. Okay, it means abusing their children means they are not taking care of them properly. In only 4 years, from 1987 to 1991, the number of children in foster care increased by over 50%. Foster care means like daycare and other. So, to those who are unrelated to them, increased by almost 50%. Babies under the age of 1 are the fastest growing category of children entering foster care. The crisis affects children under the age of 3 most severely. The report says, yes, in this period from infancy through preschool years means pre-nursery, then LKG and UKG, or you can say prep, that sets the stage for the child's future. So it is actually this period only that decides the child future, because this age actually lay their foundation, or you can say a child when he is up to 5 years. The development in a person or in a child takes place during this age of years, that is 1 to 5. So this is factually known, or you can say this is psychologically known as well. So this is the paragraph for the children who are not taken care of well. Now let us see the questions here. So first of all, let us see the question number 1. And the question number 1 is, the main focus of the passage is on the plight of. Plight means, so here we are talking about the plight. Plight means problem. Okay, problem faced by. The options are orphaned children, teenage mothers, low birth weight babies, or unwed mothers. Of course, the plight of low birth weight babies. We are talking about the crisis or the problems of basically low birth weight babies. As you can see it in the first paragraph as well. The US has a higher infant mortality rate, a higher proportion of low birth weight babies, a smaller proportion of babies immunized against childhood. So this is higher proportion and much higher rate of adolescent pregnancies. But we are talking about higher proportion of low birth weight babies. Okay, so the main focus on the passage is the plight of, that is, low birth weight babies. Okay, so the answer will be C, not teenage mothers, because we are talking about the plight means problems or the pain faced by the low birth weight babies, because here we are talking about why the low birth weight is there. It's not because of the is just teenage mothers are actually the reason for this. So we are talking about the abusing of children, so that is low birth weight babies. Now let us move to the next question, and the next question is, children falling in which age group are most severely affected by the quiet crisis? Now, first of all, let us see what is quiet crisis. Quiet crisis is, the US has a higher infant mortality rate, a higher proportion of low birth weight babies, a smaller proportion of babies immunized against childhood diseases, and a much higher rate of adolescent pregnancies. These findings described as a quiet crisis, okay, required immediate and far reaching action. So first of all, we got to know that what is quiet crisis. Now, let us see the last line of the paragraph or the passage. Yet this period is more a year. It is the crisis affects children under the age of 3 most severely. As you can see, it is written in the question as well, most severely affected by the quiet crisis, the report says. Okay, so the answer is it is under the age of, okay, here it is written under the age of 3 most severely, so it is below 3 years. So answer will be B, that is below 3 years. It is directly given in the passage, though you have to go through the passage, you have to read a few more lines of it as well, so that you can give the entire answer. Now, if we have read the paragraph, if we have read the passage, we have an idea that yes, we have read this word somewhere, maybe in this paragraph, on this paragraph, so it will make you detect or make you find that word directly and easily from the context of the passage. If you just read the passage before the questions, then you may have an idea that yes, this word I have seen in this area of the passage or in this area of the passage. So you can go directly to that particular part and read and answer the questions. If you have read the entire passage, maybe possible you need not go to the passage again and again, and you can easily answer the questions. Now let us move to the next one. The next question is, which of the following does not constitute the quiet crisis in the US as per the task force report? So we have already read that quiet crisis contains this, and this. So let us see the options, because they are not, no, they are talking about that does not constitute. It means the quiet crisis does not contain which of this? Lower proportion of newborn babies with normal weight. So we have talked about higher proportion of low birth weight babies. Okay, low birth weight. It means lower proportion of newborn babies with normal weight. So they are talking about lower proportion of that. Higher incidence of adolescent girls becoming mothers. Lower rate of babies surviving childhood diseases. And increasing cases of teenage couples getting divorced. Now, if you see this quiet crisis, we have not read this D, that is increased cases of teenage couples getting divorced. And if we see the first one, lower proportion of newborn babies with normal weight, whereas they have said higher proportion of those who are low birth weight. So obviously lower proportion of newborn babies with normal weight will be there, because higher proportion is of which people who have a abnormal weight, or you can say whose weight is not good, or that is low according to the weight of the newborn babies. So this is actually the same. The meaning of this is the same as given above. Higher incidence of adolescent girls becoming mothers. This is again the same as per it is given in the quiet crisis mode. Lower rate of babies surviving childhood diseases. Yes, of course, it is the same as it is given in the passage, though the lines are different, but the meaning of both the lines are same. So only D1 is not given in the quiet crisis part, so D will be the correct answer, because here in quiet crisis it is not given that teenage couples getting divorced. Okay, in fact it has not it is not mentioned in the entire passage as well. Now let us move to the another question. So the question is, which of the following statements is not true in the context of the passage? So they are talking about the not true means false statement. So let us see the options first. The number of single parent families today is approximately 3 times that 4 decades ago. The number of children in the US entering foster care has decreased after 1991. In the US, the number of infants living in poverty is about 3 million. Only 20% of the pregnancies in the US are planned. So let us look for all these 4 lines and try to verify them from the context of the passage one by one. So let us see each and every line individually. Let us examine each and every line individually, because we have to look for the false statement. Not true means false statement. So the first statement is the number of single parent families today is approximately 3 times that 4 decades ago. So number of single parent families. So let us see where it is written. Number of single parent families. Is it given in the last paragraph? First we can see over here. Okay, in the second last, number of, we have to look for the keywords. That is, here it is written single parents. Child immunizations are too low. More children are born in poverty, more in substandard while their parents work, and more are being raised by single parents. When taken together, these are other risk factors can lead to educational health. Okay, so we have to look for the families. The number of single parent families have nearly tripled. Yes, they have tripled. So approximately 3 times that 4 decades ago. Yes, they have been tripled now. The number of children in the US entering foster care has decreased after 1991. You can see it is given over here. American parents, okay. Most disturbingly, recent statistics show that American parents are increasingly neglecting or abusing their children. In only 4 years, from 1987 to 1991, the number of children in foster care increased, whereas they are saying decreased after 1991, and they are saying care increased by 50%. So here, according to this, B should not be the correct answer. So this is the false statement. So this will be the correct answer because B is the false statement which is given. In US, the number of infants living in poverty is about 3 million, as we have read here as well, that according to the report, a fourth of the nation's 12 billion infants and toddlers live in poverty. So as I told you, that about a fourth of the 12, so it is obviously 3 billion. Okay, because 12 divided by 4 is equal to 3, as I did as well. So this is about 3 million. So this statement is also correct. Only 20% of all the pregnancies in the US are planned. As you can see over here, it is written 80% of the teenage pregnancies and 56 of all the pregnancies are unplanned. So it is 56%. So the remaining will be you can say 20, it is around 47%. So pregnancies are unplanned. Okay, 20% of all pregnancies in US are planned, which is not. So B is the correct answer. Okay. So in the last line, as you can see, only 20% of all pregnancies in the US are planned, and it is written 56% of all pregnancies are unplanned. So there is not a particular data, and it is also written that in US 80% of the teenage pregnancies. So maybe they are planned or unplanned, it is not given. So we can say that we can ignore the last line, but the not true statement is B, as it is directly given in the passage that it has been increased, whereas it is written decreased after 1991. So answer will be B. Now let us move to the next question. And the next question is, the number of children born to married mothers in the US is approximately how many times the number of children born to unwed mothers? So they are talking about the number of children born to married mothers in the US is approximately how many times the number of children born to unwed mothers. So it is 1.5 times, 2 times, or 3 times, or 3.5 times. As you can see over here, since 1950, the number of single parent families have nearly tripled. So obviously it is 3 times. So C will be the correct answer. Now let us move to the next one. The next question is, children born out of unplanned pregnancies are highly vulnerable because vulnerable means weak, because they are raised by single parents, their parents are mostly poor, they are mostly malnourished, or they are less likely to receive prenatal care. As you can see over here, the crisis begins in the womb with unplanned parenthood. With women with unplanned pregnancies are less likely to seek prenatal care. So it is obviously D, that is, they are less likely to receive prenatal care. It is directly given in the passage as well. The next question is, decide which of the following factors is or are responsible for the physical, intellectual, and social underdevelopment of infants in the US. Illiteracy of parents, lack of parental care, or poverty. Now, if we see all these paragraphs in the passage, illiteracy has not been mentioned anywhere. Next is lack of parental care. Yes, of course, like prenatal care, and they are also talking about the foster care, care of people other than their parents. So it has been given. Okay. So we can say that yes, lack of parental care is the reason. Also, poverty is also the reason. So if they have asked us about the reason, only A, only B, only C, or both B and C. Of course, B and C, both B and C are correct, because we have already read these two words that the responsible for the physical, intellectual, and social underdevelopment of infants in the US is just because of lack of parental care and poverty. Now let us move to the another question. So let us see the next question, and that is, an increasing number of infants in the US are in foster care on account of, as you can see over here, as the number of single parent families grows and more women enter the workforce, infants and toddlers are increasingly in the care of people other than their parents, and other than their parents means foster care. So the answer will be, now let us see what is the reason for this. US in the foster care account of an increasing number of single parents families with the female member working, an increasing number of women maintaining their status of unwed motherhood and becoming economically independent, an increasing number of employed couples who are required to stay apart, an increasing number of women getting divorced and abandoning their babies. Now it is actually A, that is an increasing number of single parents families with the female member working. So this is the actual reason. So answer is A. Now the next one is, the task force report seems to be based on the data pertaining to the period 1987 to 91, 1950 onwards till date, 1987 onwards till date, or 1950 to 91. So in only 4 years from this to this. Okay, since 1950, if we talk about the report, it is actually since 1950 we have talked about, and also from the year 1987 to 91. So these 4 years and before that. So it should be, I think, 1950 to 91, because we have been shown the report of since 1950 as well. We have data of that particular time as well, and also the data of 1987 to 1991. Therefore, D is the correct answer. Now let us move to the another question, that is, choose the word which is most nearly the same in the meaning as used in the passage. So we have to look for the same meaning word, and the word is confront. Options are face, tolerate, succumb, or eliminate. So we have to look for the same meaning word. Now let us see where this word is written, confront. As you can see over here, and just try to find out this word as per given in the passage. Is it given in the passage? Now let us see. Yes, it is written over here. According to the report, a fourth of the nation's 12 million infants and toddlers live in poverty. As many half confront risk factors that could harm their ability to develop intellectually, physically, and socially. It means only half of them they confront. Confront means face. They fight for it. Okay, they face the situation. So A will be the correct answer. Okay, so the meaning of the word confront is to face. Now the second question is vulnerable. So we have to tell the meaning of vulnerable. As I told you, vulnerable means weakest or weaker. So insecure, indispensable, risky, or delicate. So it is D, that is delicate, that is very soft. Vulnerable means weak, and delicate means soft. So vulnerable, and the synonym of this word is delicate. Next, the next question is abusing. Okay, abusing. We have to tell the meaning of abusing. As you can say, increasingly neglecting or abusing their children. So it must be a negative word. Cursing, beating, ill-treating, or accusing. Obviously, we in the entire paragraph we have taught about the ill-treatment of the children. So it is ill-treating. So C will be the correct answer. Okay, now let us move to the next one. Choose the word which is the most opposite in the meaning of the word as used in the passage. Severely. So we have been asked about the opposite of severely. Now you can say under the age of 3 most severely, the report says. And the options are drastically, intensely, minutely, or slightly. So severely means something which is very seriously. So its answer should be D, that is slightly. Severely is strictly, and slightly means in normal way, lenient way. Now the next question is unstable, and the opposite of it is changing, steady, stagnant, or confined. Confined means limited, and changing means which keeps on changing. Steady means on a particular constant scale. So unstable means which is not stable, which is fickle, and the opposite of it should be B, that is steady. So answer is B, of course. And the next question is substandard. So impoverished, compassionate, excellent, or beneficial. Now substandard means, as you can see over here, substandard. Here it is written, more are in substandard care while the parents work, and more are being raised by single parents. Substandard care means not appropriate. Impoverished means very poor. Compassionate, no. Excellent, no. We have asked for the opposite of it. Substandard, with the where they does not they do not get facilities because parents are not there. And beneficial is somewhere when one gets the benefits. So the correct answer should be D. D should be the opposite of this particular word from the given passage. So I hope you understood each and every question well. This is very easy and interesting paragraph. So they have talked about the foster child care or the institutes that can take the charge of children, or the parents and their problems and their situations, their helplessness. Also the children, because only the person that suffered is children, because those are the vulnerable society means, you can say they are the youngest, and the vulnerable means weak because they totally depend on their parents and others, and their development too depends on others only. So this is the passage for that only. This is now I'm ending my passage. In another session we'll discuss some more passages. Thanks to you.